I just think it's so important because for us, that was something we definitely adopted for our family. That hard work, we're going to embrace it. And we're not going to shy away from it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to avoid it.
Mm-hmm. And it's so important, I think, with anything you're teaching anybody, that it has to be imparted versus educated. Mm-hmm. You know, they got to see us working hard. They got to see us doing what we need to do.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hey guys, welcome back. Excited to be podcasting with my hubby today. You missed it, hon. I did 4 episodes or 5, I can't remember, with the kids. They were in here last time.
Nice.
And of course, they were amazing. You know, they brought it, but they brought jokes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought jokes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you laugh?
Of course.
Of course. Did you laugh like you laugh at mine?
No, honey, they're my
rare.
kids. Like, no.
I see. Okay. So what were they?
You gotta listen to the podcast, hon.
That memorable, huh? Okay. I'm waiting for one.
I'm not going to tell you. You got to listen to the podcast because I want to give the punchline. I don't want to do that to the kids.
So did you hear about the archaeologist that got fired?
No.
Well, it's kind of sad. Now his career is in ruins.
Oh, no.
See, you are laughing.
Oh, no. I think everyone should send in their favorite dad jokes.
Why do sweaters tend to hang out together?
I don't know.
They're pretty close-knit.
Close-knit. That's a good one, actually.
Hey, what did the buffalo say to her son on the first day of school? Bye, son.
Bye, son. Okay. He really just does this for himself. I think it actually just gets you in the mood.
For podcasting.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think you just are like, okay, now we're ready. Let's roll it.
Yeah, let's go.
Some people have
what are we talking about?
A music they listen to ahead of time. Some people have affirmations. Nope. Greg has jokes to get him going for podcast day.
So what would you like to share today, my dear?
You know, actually, we were talking this morning. It was really good about some of the amazing things we learned from our parents. Mm-hmm. We haven't really talked about some of the things that our parents taught us that we've implemented.
Yeah, because, we're pretty big on combining our normals from we both grew up with the positives, but then also selecting new normals from us down. And we've had a few episodes around that topic, but it's an important thing because I think most times people are on cruise control and they're implementing normals without being intentional about wanting to create new ones. And some of them are good and some of them may not be the best, or they can be improved or whatever. And so you're right. We've kind of talked a lot about our new normals, but haven't necessarily spoke on what were some that we did pull from our parents and what were they and what was the benefit of them. So what were some of yours?
Yeah. I mean, I remember, so my background, my mom and dad are just awesome. My kids affectionately call them Nana and Baka. And they are celebrating 49 years of marriage this year, which is just awesome.
How'd they do it? How'd they celebrate?
Well, it's in February.
Oh, but They just went on the trip, right?
They went to Alaska. They just got back from Alaska.
Yeah, they went there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they had so much fun. My parents actually grew up. They were grade school and high school sweethearts. So they've known each other forever, literally. And they were just such a great example. I have a younger brother who's 2.5 years younger than me. Him and his amazing wife and their 2 kids live in Ohio. And it was just my brother and I and my parents, a little team of 4. And to think we have 8, it's like we doubled what I grew up in. But I just grew up like in, just the cute little family that I grew up in. And, my parents were so good at loving on my brother and I and just supporting us and being so honoring of what we wanted to do, whether it was sports or whatever it may be. But one of the things that they taught me that we've implemented with our kids is follow through and commitment. And for us, a lot of that look through, when you commit to something, you follow through with it no matter what. If you said you're going to be somewhere, you're there. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. And people don't need to check in with you 2 and 3 and 4 times. A lot of times Dad would just explain that, what we commit to, represents who we are. Mm-hmm. And it's very important for us to make sure that we're always being honoring to the people that we commit to. Mm-hmm. And so my parents would talk a lot about that, make your yes a yes, and if your no's a no, make it a no. But if you said yes, even if, a week later you don't feel like doing it anymore, you said yes last week. Yep. Or if you joined a team and let's just say your sports team wasn't doing the best mm-hmm. and you wanted to quit halfway through, mm-hmm. that you don't get to do that. You're going to finish the season. Right. Doesn't mean you have to do that sport for the rest of your life. Doesn't mean you need to sign up next season, but you need to follow through this season because they're counting on you. Mm-hmm. Or if you are doing a school project with your friends, you're not going to be the weak link. You're going to follow through. A lot of times I remember in grade school having group projects, and I don't really know why teachers would do that and then say, hey, by the way, go home and have your parents organize with the other parents for you guys all to get together for this group project. That was always funny to me because all these parents had to organize us outside of school and stuff like that. But, for us to come to those group projects with our part done and always follow through, or I don't know how many times, maybe you said you would go and help somewhere. Maybe it was at your church or maybe it was, a commitment that you had in the community or anything like that. And of course you get better offers sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Like the day you say, yeah, I'll go do that. I'd love to serve maybe. I remember going to the soup kitchen with my dad, growing up. And I remember literally sometimes, of course, Dad would be like, so we're going to go. You're going to come with me, Jackie. Like you committed, right? So it's in 3 weeks or something like that. Yep, Dad, I'll be there. A little nervous. Never done this before. Yeah. Not even sure I want to do it, but I would love to go serve with you, Dad. And of course, the week before, that's when that birthday party invite came in, or an opportunity to go to a game or an opportunity to go shopping or something like that. And I would come to my dad and hope that he would be like, yeah, I get it. You're young. You want to go do that other thing. I get that, honey. And he'd just look at me and be like, what did you already commit to? I'd be like, the soup kitchen, Dad. But, you could go do that for me, right, Dad? And he was just so good at being like, you made a commitment and we're going to follow through. So I feel like that's something that we've taught our kids to do, that follow through is so important all the time.
I kind of have an opposite experience with that. My dad he was always working and sleeping pretty much. He just kind of worked around the clock. And so he wasn't involved in my sports. And I remember, it's so funny how this stuff sticks with you, right? But my freshman year of football, it's like my first year playing football, but I really fell in love with it pretty quick. And I realized that if I work hard at it, I can get pretty good at it. And so I started out not knowing anything and kind of fumbling my way around, but eventually started figuring stuff out and eventually started, working my way into starting position and then one of the best in the team. And so I put a lot of heart and soul and energy into it. I played really hard. And what I was going to play basketball also in my freshman year and play that in high school. And I remember you had to commit to at least, trying out and everything, probably a month before they did the tryouts. And, but we were still a month left of football. And so I committed to it because I'm just like, I'm going to play. But then what happened was the minute that football ended, I think it was the same week, we were almost doubling up, football ended. And then we started basketball tryouts and practice. And I remembered I was so gassed. I was so worn out. You do 4-hour practices every night after school plus games and your body is literally the way I played, my body was beat up. You get no rest for however many weeks it lasted. So here I am in tryouts in basketball. And I remember sitting there being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this because this is just too much. I need to heal. But I went through the tryouts. I made the team, I would have been a starter. And, but I got 2 weeks in after I made the team, other people got cut. I got 2 weeks in and I still wasn't my body wasn't right. And I was just mostly mentally exhausted. And I remember, thinking this is going to be a long season, but I talked to my mom in her defense. She's got a mom's heart And, but she kind of told me, she's like, Greg, I think this is too much. I think you should just quit. I think you should just be done with it. And I remember myself being like, I don't know if I should quit. I should probably follow through. But she was just so encouraging of trying to protect her son. And I didn't really have a dad to talk about this to necessarily, right? And so I quit. I remember quitting. And I remember the day after I quit how I felt. I remember sitting in, it was like some kind of a physics or a science class or something like that. And I remember I'm sitting there and I'm not only feeling guilty about it, but I'm also looking at a kid that was the last kid to get cut. And I'm thinking, I just put him 2 weeks behind. He'll probably get on the team now if he wants to be, but I put him 2 weeks behind. And I'm just like, what am I doing? But now I'd already made that decision. They're not going to let you back on the team after you officially quit. And so honestly, after that, I was so embarrassed by that I never went out for basketball again. And if I look at it now, I probably could have enjoyed basketball more.
Sure.
Because that's all I play now, right? I've been playing it ever since my 20s, really. And I probably could have been a lot better at it than football.
Yeah, maybe.
But again, though, so like, I'm not trying to fault my mom. I think she was doing the best she could with what she knew. But I learned almost from what not to do in this scenario. Your parents brought it. So between you and I, we created this normal of like the follow through like your parents did. And me, I'm like want to reinforce it because I remember what it feels like to not.
Right.
So
yeah, good lesson.
yeah, really good lesson.
How about you? What's one from your family?
One thing that was instilled from actually both my mom and dad is just to work really hard. I don't know. I mean, you know me, like I don't mind working hard. Like I feel like if you're gonna do something, work hard at it. And where that came from was, I think, just watching my parents always do that. Whether it is, my dad, how many hours he worked at a job, and then he would come home and he'd be fixing cars, and or he would, literally, if you look at the house that we grew up in, it was half the size, and so he'd work 12-hour days and come home and put additions on it, right? Or even other things like, my dad would get a deer, and when he'd go hunting, and then it would be, around the clock, taking care of everything he had to do to skin the deer and cut it into the proper meat and, package it properly. And it would just, like, you just did it. Like, you did it until you went to bed kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was no breaks. We had to get stuff done. And so you work hard at it. My mom, canning stuff, like, until her fingers are bleeding, right? And I probably absorbed it more than I was taught it, if that makes sense, just by watching them. But it's really helped me. It's really carried me through, whether it's starting out as an engineer, whether it's, running some of our other businesses. If I am focused on it, I'm not afraid to work hard. In fact, I kind of enjoy it. It's just who I am.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that we both bring to the table that I think we can outwork anybody. I'm not always saying it's smart work all the time, but we're willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish whatever it is. And, kudos to our parents, you know what I mean? For being either that example or teaching it or telling us the importance of it. Because I think you and I actually honor hard work, and that's something that we have definitely brought into our children. We teach them many times, whether they're trying out for a sport or something like that. You might not be the most athletic, but you will be the hardest worker. And you will get on that team because they will want to see that example of hard work. You might not be the best at, that subject, but you will work the hardest at that subject. And therefore you will be, the most knowledgeable in that topic. Or you might not, be the best at, like you just said, maybe something like, our kids just got all their hunting license. And, you might not be the best at catching a deer or whatever, but you will work hard enough to be a part of whatever it is. And I just think it's so important because for us, that was something we definitely adopted for our family. That hard work, we're going to embrace it. And we're not going to shy away from it. Yeah. And we're not going to avoid it.
And it's so important, I think, with anything you're teaching anybody, that it has to be imparted versus educated. They got to see us working hard, and they got to see us doing what we need to do. And they do, and we set that example, whether it's how we run our house or whether it's our multiple endeavors or whatever. We play hard too, but we work hard. And yeah, you're right. I mean, you watch it kind of rubbing off on them because you look at little Ellie getting second place in a cross country meet with about racing against about 60 girls. She's only in 6th grade, and she's running against 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and she's like the shortest one. But man, she's not afraid to work.
And she was literally the other day. What was it? Like a second away from getting first
against a girl that her legs were as tall as Ellie.
Literally, this girl's stride took off, and Ellie. What's funny is Ellie. This girl beat Ellie about a week ago.
Yeah,
and Ellie came in like I think 3rd or 4th at that point, right? And so she was like, "I'll be darned."
She got 4th. Yeah.
Okay, she got 4th. She's like, "I'll be darned." This time she came back and she bumped all the way up to 2nd
and almost took 1st.
She like literally, you guys.
If she'd have had another 10 yards,
half a second away.
She would have got her another 10 yards.
And Ellie's face as she came in was like, "I'm gonna get this girl," and then. I mean,
and Drusy, man, he went out there and ran a great race. They got a good team.
Yes.
And it came down to the end. He ended up getting 4th. But he had the thing I was really proud of. He was disappointed to get in the top 3. You're racing against 95 kids, right? And he's number 4. And I get he wants to be in the top 3. But the great thing was later we discovered when his time got recorded, it was his best time ever.
Right.
And so, but this is the part I really love. Like today, right after we get done here podcasting, we're going up to the track. He has a meet on Monday. Him and Ellie want to go run the track. They figured out their time. They want to run a different pace today because they want to position themselves to work hard. Now, what other kid's going to do that on a Saturday?
I will tell you, I totally agree. I can only think of one other kid. It's probably that kid who got first place the other day.
Yeah.
There was this kid.
Yeah,
I think he's number 1 in districts.
He's been working
for the whole area. Mm-hmm. He came in a good couple minutes ahead of everybody else. But I will tell you, this kid's parents is doing something right too.
Yeah,
because this kid took the lead and ran his race, and he worked so hard and came all the way into first, and he never slowed down. Even when he was like, I'm saying, you guys, he was like way ahead. Like this is his life, and this kid strived so hard to be
so good for Jerus to see.
It was so good
because otherwise you're almost like the top kid. It's always good to have someone just kind of kicking your fanny that stretches you to know you can do so much better.
Because if he can do it, you can do it, right?
So all right, well, let's continue this topic in the next one. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.